Good morning, everyone. My name is Anthony, and welcome to Sash TV. Today, it's Youth Day, and we are having a very important conversation of Youth Day. We are celebrating or remembering the youth of 1976, the youth that stood for justice. But we are not only remembering them, we are also recognizing the youth of today with the challenges that they are facing, challenges such as access to opportunities, education, and dignity. I'm not alone, I'm with the voice that matters. I'll let each and everyone here to introduce themselves, where the organization they're coming from, and we can proceed with this powerful conversation of today. Basi.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, Anthony. My name is Basitani Musia, and I am representing an organization called Africa Unite. I work there as the Human Rights Programs Manager.
Hi, I'm Chloe Brink. I'm a peer educator at Africa Unite and I work for an organization called Ifuna Ukwazi.
Molweni, igama lami nguViyo Lwethu. I am a community engagement officer at the Equal Education Law Center.
Great. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Let's dive into the conversation. The first question that I have for you guys is beyond the history of Youth Day, what does Youth Day mean to you today?
I think it's important that we first acknowledge those that have come before us, and then we also acknowledge the current youth in today. I think that the struggle does continue, but I'm hopeful.
So, for me, what does Youth Day mean? For me, it means that there was once a people who refused to survive a system but confront a system. For me, it's just not a commemoration of June 16th public holiday, but it is a reminder that there were young people who refused to be silenced in injustice. But also, it's a bittersweet one for me because we are now celebrating 50 years since 1976. But a question that I keep asking myself, if they could wake up and see what they were fighting for, would it only just be on black and white paper, but if not in lived realities or lived experiences? So for me, Youth Day means that we've come somewhere, but we still have a long way to go.
For me, beyond the history of the day, I think the Youth Day is almost like a reflection, a reminder of centering or understanding who I am as a young person navigating life. Where I think a lot of times we constantly feel like we are not sure what we are doing or where we are going. So the day is also kind of a significant reminder of understanding the strength that comes in being a youth and what the possibilities could look like for someone who is a young person.
What kind of future do you believe young people in South Africa deserve?
Young people in South Africa deserve a future that is absent and free of fear, of violence, and pressure.
I think young people deserve access to opportunities, whatever that may look like. It's important that we dream and that it's important that we have access to make sure that that dream is realized.
I think I concur with what my comrades have said. For me, also, young people in South Africa, it would be the redefinition of what dignity means, what access means. Young people today have to prove what does social justice mean. Why do I need dignity? Why do I need access to housing? Why do I need to realize the right to basic education? So for me, it would be the shying away of having to prove why do I need this? But I realize it because it's a constitutional and a moral duty.
What is one thing that must change now to improve the lives of young people?
You'll start, man.
Yes, I think I'll go back to say access, right? Access to opportunities. And also, I think it's important that we ask our government, right? What are they doing on their side? We literally have 45% unemployment rate. So what is the government doing? And also to come to young people and say, what do you want? You know, what opportunities should we provide for you? I feel like many times young people's voices are not at the forefront, and it should be.
I think for me also, that's my point, is to say that it's young people participating meaningfully in decision making. Young people not being passive when they receive policies, when they receive amendments, when they receive laws. But it's also young people being up to date with the now. What is happening now? What is changing now? Who's passing what? Who's drafting what? So for me, it's meaningful participation in decision making in all structures at all levels.
And I think for me, in echoing the same sentiments, I think what ties it all together is this need for a renewed and transformed leadership and governance in the country. I think we are operating from a place or position of just, I don't know how to call it, we're stuck in the past. We are fixated in people putting forward self-serving interests. And so I feel like in order for young people to be accounted for in what would be the future of this country, we definitely need a transformed and regenerated leadership.
Thank you. The next question is, what role should young people play in shaping decisions that affects their lives?
So I think there's not a new one, there's not a new role young people should start playing. I think it's an enhancement of what we are already doing. And with that comes a need for enhanced and effective coordination across sectors where young people are engaged, where young people are living, where young people are visible.
I feel like as young people, we are doing the work already, and I do feel like we also deserve our flowers in that. But I also feel like the old guard, they need to hold the door for us. They need to pass the baton, and just give us that opportunity to be in the room, and not only be in the room, but when we are in the room, right, to give us the opportunity and to see that it's not only through visibility, but it's through implementation as young people as well.
Right. Since you're there, Chloe, you mentioned opportunities. What opportunities do you think young people need?
Yes. I think opportunities to places of higher learning, opportunities to a job market that is not just call centers, So wherever they would like to place themselves, that there is access to that opportunities within the job market as well.
All right, so which question am I answering?
What role should young people play in shaping decisions that affect their lives?
I think for me, I echo and share the same sentiments as my fellow comrades. One would then say to young people, it is coming out of working in silos. It is coming out of working alone as one organization, as one group. Collaboration is key in transformative decision making. So many young people today, as young people, as myself as an activist, if there's a legal reform in education, I won't reach out to the next person whom I know is working in education. I'd rather do that so that I can secure the victory for me. But it's also saying to young people that we need to move out of silos, but also the victory of social justice is bigger than us. It's not for us, it's not about us, but it is for those who matter the most, the marginalized.
Thank you very much, Rio. And for Busi, this question is for you. In your experience, how do issues of social justice and inequality affect young people in your community?
So I think with my experience of how issues affect young people within, I guess, it's just social justice space, it's affected people in different ways. And the reason why it's different is because young people are not a monolith. So, we are talking now in this conversation about issues of education. There's also issues around documentation. We are a nation that is struggling and grappling with a high number of stateless people. And so, how do we then also understand that, and especially with the stateless people, it's young people, children that are stateless. And so, for me, when I think about youth and thinking about the challenges and experiences, it's from an intersectional lens or perspective to understand that, yes, I'm a young person, but then I'm also Black. I'm a young person, but I'm also a refugee. I'm a young person who is also an asylum seeker. So, how then do we understand that or think about interventions that respond to this dynamic wide approach of what a young person should be or already looks like? So I feel like then that is then the approach in trying to address these issues.
Vuyo, this question is also specific for you. How can education and advocacy better empower young people to claim their rights and opportunities?
So for me, that question makes me pause and reflect on my journey as a young activist. So I started at Equal Education as an equalizer. An equalizer is a high school going learner.
Right?
So I come from Kailicha, which is like 40 kilometers to where I went to high school. And I then went to a school that's 40 kilometers because my parents had this promise or this vision and this dream that they want a better education. But the sad reality is that what I was running away from, a Kailicha, I found it waiting for me at Woma High. The realization and the true reality of education is that realizing the right to basic education is not just a learner wearing school uniform. Realizing the basic right to education has many contributors. There are many contributing factors to realizing that right to basic education. So the type of school that I'm in, from the window, from the door, from the desk, from the textbook. So as an equalizer, I then also was then exposed to that. Actually, realizing the right to basic education, it's also in how I get to school. So living 40 kilometers away from school meant that at 4 a.m. I need to be up, at 5 I need to be out. I then started being a learner at Reclaim the City, advocating for social housing in the inner city. So now do you see the contributing factors to realizing the right to basic education? Safety is coming in, housing is coming in, water and sanitation is coming in. So as a young person, I've had the privilege of seeing what does advocacy in education mean, from being a high school learner to being an equalizer, to being working at Equal Education, working at the Equal Education Law Center. How do organizers advocate for the right to basic education? How do lawyers advocate for the right to basic education? Now, the problem is not with the betterment of those realizing the right to basic education, but the problem now we are facing in the education sector is those who are responsible for implementing the right to basic education. South Africa is not short of progressive laws. South Africa is not short of judgment, not short of orders, but implementation and transformation is what is missing. It's something else to have a constitution that's written in black and white paper to say, this is your right, this is what you deserve, where implementation is a different thing. Then it means it's just a promise on black and white paper. So what is missing now, it's not the betterment of those who are in education. It's not the betterment of activists. It's not the betterment of organizers. It is actually the implementation of those who are responsible of constitutionally rolling out the right to basic education.
That is very well said. Thank you, Will. In closing, if you were the government, what support would you give young people? Starting with you, Chloe.
I think the support that I will give young people is firstly trying to engage with young people and find out what they would like, which pathways is suitable for them. I think that the government has not necessarily been intentional about that, and I think that is a good starting point.
I think with the engagement also comes with actually understanding that these are human lives and human beings. So for me, it would definitely be ensuring that I uphold the most basic principles of human rights, which is respect and dignity. And I think if you move from that at all times, you're able to ensure that what you do yields positive results and that there's no one who's getting left behind in the process.
I think for me, it would firstly say to the young people, I'm sorry, guys, I've done you wrong. I know the department is always, or the government is saying, oh, we are doing our best. Yes, there's this defense mechanism that we are doing our best. We are doing more than you can imagine. And then they start listing it. So firstly, it would firstly acknowledge the young people that, hey, guys, we've done you wrong. But also it would be building meaningful youth pathways so that young people can participate meaningfully economically also. I do understand there's the small business enterprises, it would say there's funding available, but also it is the conscientizing of young people that here are these opportunities. You know that the government has sent a narrative that young people in South Africa are folding arms. That's not the reality. The reality is that opportunities are sent for those who are in close proximity to opportunities, but not those who matter the most. In South Africa, you have young people who are double dipping. That's a reality that we need to acknowledge as young people because of their proximity to opportunity. But it's saying that the department must ensure that proximity to opportunity is for those who need it the most, those who matter the most.
Thank you very much, comrade, and thank you for joining us. It has been a wonderful conversation with you on behalf of BlackSash. I just want to say thank you, and the fight is not over, and we shall continue fighting. And yeah, thank you very much, and we all say Happy Youth Day to those that are watching. Thank you very much for joining us, and celebrate well. Thank you, Manta.
Wait.